Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in on the webinar call today. This is Scott Even with Rogers Benefit Group out of our Tucson office. I want to first of all thank all of you for joining in on today's program. On the call today, we have Ken Spencer. He is the President and CEO of HR Services, Inc., as well as ERISA Solutions, Inc. He will be handling the duties of the discussion of the program. Also on the line is Tammy Kennedy, Rogers Benefit Group's Southwest Regional Manager. She's a little under the weather today, so she has asked me to take care of the introduction piece, so that's what I'm doing today. And again, this is Scott Even, the Sales Manager for our Tucson Rogers Benefit Group office. The reason we're having you today or bringing you to onto this webinar is after listening to you guys in terms of wanting a cost-effective solution for your clients' ERISA compliance needs, we've chosen to recommend Ken Spencer with HR Solutions and ERISA Solutions. We did a thorough kind of research of the market, and I think after you see what he's going to present today, I think you'll agree that this is going to be a nice solution for your clients. Why our recommendation? We did get some feedback from the brokers, basically because of the simplicity of his system and the vast library of ERISA compliant best practices and documents that this system provides. He'll go through that in the webinar. His system is web-based, live working documents that can be changed frequently as needed. That's a little different than with some of the other providers out there, and many times they will charge you for that. In this situation, it's something that you or your client can go into their system and change on the fly, and then submit out to your employees. It's very user-friendly. The other big piece was the reasonable cost associated with this. I think when you see the cost that you'll have to pay for this, or your client, you'll be very surprised considering what else is in the market. Also, the biggest thing is if I've gotten to know Ken over the last month or so as we've gone through a few of these webinars, and his team can assist us with guidance and assist you with the setup of the documents is immeasurable to me. So I was very impressed with that, and I think you will too when you hear him. Before we get started and I hand this over to Ken, though, I'd like to just talk of a couple of agenda items regarding HR Services, ERISA Solutions, and Rogers Benefit. First of all, this is not a program that we will be paying for, and we are not involved or affiliated with Ken's organization in any fashion. It's simply a recommendation for what we consider probably to be best practice out there. We are not making any type of compensation from this either. However, Ken will talk about how potentially you as the broker partner could be able to make some money off of this, or at least some commission on this if you so choose. This is strictly a recommendation of his platform. And then lastly, I just want to say that Ken will be there as well as his team to help you with any questions that you have, and we really want you to direct you to Ken and his team, and he'll have a couple of key teammates that he will direct us to at the very end of the meeting. Earlier today, we had a little power surge on the phone line, so the last few minutes of the call were gone, so we're hoping that will be all set in order now. And I guess, Ken, with that, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to you so we can hear about the program.
Great. Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Tammy. We appreciate the opportunity to work with you and be a resource for Rogers Benefit Group and all of you who are on the phone here today. Thank you so much for joining us. So we're going to talk today about some of the key challenges that are facing your clients dealing with compliance, and help you understand how some of the tools that we're making available to you will help you to attract and retain more business. And most importantly, we want your clients to be compliant. We don't want them to be assigned fines and such with some of the audits and things that are taking place. So we're going to walk through some things on there, and then at the end we'll introduce you into the details of this service and the steps you might take if this is something that you're interested in. So the first thing I want to emphasize is most of you have probably heard the rumors about the increased audits that are taking place by the Department of Labor and the division that governs ERISA. Historically, we used to not have to worry about this because they mainly audited retirement plans in larger organizations. Well, with the incoming changes with the Affordable Care Act, they're now auditing all plans, all sizes of groups. We had a 15-person company audited a few months back. We had a 40-person company that was audited that the broker called the auditor and said, "Why are you auditing this group?" And the response they got, they said, "We haven't narrowed them out. We're auditing all groups by 2018. Now, I think that's a lofty goal, and I question if they really even will do that. But nonetheless, there's a lot of that fear and those rumors going on out there. So what that means for you as a broker, if you're not addressing or providing them with some kind of solution, there's other brokers who will. And so a lot of brokers have been winning business by being good at this kind of thing. And so we want to empower you with tools today that will help you to attract and retain business and meet your client's compliance needs. So when an audit takes place, your client will receive a letter that actually there's several pages of letters, and it's the same letter that's sent whether they're a small group or a large group. And you'll see some of the questions they ask on that are things like, do you have a summary plan description? Actually it asks for copies of your summary plan description or your summary plan description wrap document. Now the wrap document, a lot of you have probably heard and have an understanding of that. Let me give you just a brief definition. So a summary plan description, that's what ERISA says. We want all participants to receive this information, and there's lots of things included of what constitutes a summary plan description. It's more than what they get from the insurance company. So they could individually go around and create their own separate SPDs for each of their benefit plans. An easier approach is to use what's called a summary plan description wrap document, or an SPD wrap document. What a wrap document does, ours creates one plan document and then creates one overall SPD, summary plan description, that wraps around all the component benefit plans, medical, dental, life, disability, etc. It pulls in all the missing insurance company information and then ties in the required ERISA language. So it simplifies that process. Now in this audit, they'll also look for various employee notices. I've listed a few in here as some examples. I'm going to show you all of the notice requirements in just a moment. Similarly, we provide a solution that will help you and help them to meet these notice requirements. They ask for 5,500 reports if that applies. They have 100 or more participants in a plan. They're also checking on healthcare reform items, which is probably the key reason that's driving the audits in the first place. Now, the next thing I wanted to mention, another challenge that your clients are faced with, and this is coming to this part, that first part, is all these notices that have to go out. A lot of your clients don't know which notices apply to them. They think they're being done by you or by the insurance providers. And so a lot of notices are going incomplete. And that creates risk. If somebody doesn't get a notice, they could come in and say, hey, I didn't know I had that available, and then maybe there's some liability for someone there. It also creates risk of client receiving a fine if they are audited and they're found that they haven't completed these notices. So there's a lot of different notice requirements, everything from COBRA, initial COBRA, on down to summary of benefits and coverage. Now, companies are pretty good at the first one and the bottom one, but it's the others in between that's kind of hit and miss if they're happening at all. So I'm going to show you a tool to take care of these notices here in just a moment. The other challenge that's faced with your clients is to how are they keeping current on all of these employment law changes? Not only healthcare reform, ERISA, but all employment laws. Could be Family Medical Leave, Fair Labor Standards Act, discrimination, Title VII, etc. They seem to be, and you know better than I, but I'm hearing that clients seem to be looking to their broker to provide more solutions for this kind of thing as well. And so I'll show you how we'll take care of that for you. Clients are also not fully compliant with HIPAA. There's a number of the new high-tech changes that have not been fully implemented across the board, a number of clients that are not properly managing their PHI, their protected health information. And so that's another thing that I'll show you a tool that we're going to provide so that they can be compliant with HIPAA. And the last thing I'll mention here, and then we'll dive in and show you some of the tools. A lot of clients don't realize that their 125 premium-only plan documents and flexible spending account documents are out of date. There were changes that went on last year, some things dealing with the healthcare reform, some things dealing with the definition of spouse and such that need to be updated in those plan documents. So anyone whose document's older than last year, they likely need to have them amended or just replaced. and I'll show you a resource too that we can help to provide all of these in one document center, making this easy with one place stop for you. With that, let's dive into the solution. The core solution we recommend for you and your clients is called Compliance Basics Plus. The plus part of that is some options where it includes either the SPD wrap and the 125 POP document or both. So if we look at the key part of the Compliance Basics part of this first, the first thing we do for your clients is each month we provide them with what they need to know and do. And so every month they receive a due date reminder of any of the changes that's going on. We give an update on federal and state employment laws, all employment laws. We put your logo on it. So here's an example of what that looks like. And by the way, I wanted to mention that we will make available to you copies of these slides. We're also recording this event. And feel free, we have you all muted, but if you would like to text over any of your questions, feel free to do that, as we did just have a question, someone asking about the presentation and copies. So we will make that available, both hard copies as well as we're recording this event too. Okay, so here's an example of a legal update, and you can see here we've given key compliance reminders and actions. We give federal compliance changes, and we also give them state-by-state changes. So in the state of Arizona, for example, there were changes here, and a client could go in and click and see that it's highlighted. They know they've got a change. They need to go in and check and verify. They may have employees in other states as well, so they'll see all of the state-by-state changes and such that's going on. Once a month, we're also going to provide them with one best practice article, and we call this our HR bulletin. We take one topic every month. We provide them with various things. It could be compliance, it could be healthcare related, it could be healthcare reform, it may even be leadership. Sometimes there's different topics, multiple things, but we take just one and go into detail on it. So for example, this month we're writing an article on how to fill out the 1095C, 1094C documents so that your clients can be compliant with sections 6055 and 6056 of the employer reporting requirements that's going on. So again, they'll see a detailed article on that. Here's an example of one we did on how to pass an ERISA audit. Same thing there, we put your logo on. Our goal with this is we want you to be the heroes. We want to build your brand. We want the client to see and feel that this is coming from you. Okay, coming back now to this list of employee notices, and I'm also going into what I'll call our web-based solutions. So you and your client would both receive access to go into our web-based solutions. Inside of there, once you log into the system, you'll see an option to go into employee notices, and I'm going to go in there in just a moment and show you what that looks like. But I wanted to point out to you what all is included in that. So everything in this bracket, we have an all-in-one notice that takes place. We recommend you run this once a year and send it out to your clients. It takes care of all these notices, everything from Medicare Part D on up to the initial COBRA. So when you go into the system, whether it's you or the client, again, both of you have access into for that given client. And the client could go in, or you could go in, answer the questions about the company, some simple questions about the medical insurance, and then you push a button for Generate Employee Notices. When you push that button, the system pulls in which notice applies, fills it out, populates it if there's anything that needs to be customized, like in the Medicare Part D, and then it emails it to the client or you, the broker, in a ready-to-deliver format. Some of our brokers like to be the ones that handle it and deliver it. Others want the client to do all the work, and some will do both. They'll say, hey, client, go in and fill out as much of this as you can, and we'll go in and help with the rest. So either way, it's up to you. You'll also see in here when we go in, there's a separate button for Health Exchange Notice. The Health Exchange Notice is separate because that notice goes to all employees, where the other only goes to participants in the plan. And so you'll see that in there as well. Once we log into the system, you'll also see our Summary Plan Description Wrap Document service, where you can enter in, store the data, and such, and generate the documents from there, or the client can. You'll also see a tool in there called a Summary of Material Modifications. And just so that we're all clear on what that definition is, anytime a benefit changes, and that change is considered material, meaning the value of the benefit has gone up or down. And there's a number of things that may qualify for that, such as a deductible being increased or decreased, or co-insurance. But anytime there's a change like that, ERISA requires that the employer provide participants with a summary of material modification that communicates what changed, what's the date, how did it impact me. And we're going to show you, we have a tool inside here as well to generate and save those. And that's another item, by the way, that's asked for when they do audits. So the only thing we don't help with on this entire list inside the system is the bottom one, summary of benefits and coverage. And that's what they receive from the insurance company. Okay, so but before I go into the system, just to give you a little bit more about the wrap document service. Our service is very easy to use. It's very user-friendly. It asks the questions that are needed to pull in the missing information for the SPD wrap. And then the system stores the data, and either you or your client can access that. You can edit and make changes. You can generate the document, or they can generate the document. And there's no charge anytime you're paying for a fee to utilize the tool for that given client. And then the documents are then emailed out to you or the client in a ready-to-deliver format with instructions on what to include with it and how to send it out. And just so you know, once you get the core document, you then need to attach something to the document that explains the component benefit plan information. It may be a brochure, probably the most popular certificates of insurance that would be included with that. And then there's different ways to deliver that. You could go out either via handing it to someone. You could mail it to them. Those are the more manual ways. The most popular is to do it electronically, where you may store it into something like a website, an intranet site, and then you have to individually notify participants to go in and access and use that information from there. Or you may also email it to them. And you can email it to their regular work emails, or you can email it to a personal email as long as you've obtained written authorization to do that. And we can help you and your clients with all of that process. Okay, so let's go into the system now. So I'm going to close this up. And if I go into our system, I'm actually going, I put this on speakerphone here, so I hope you can still hear me okay. But I'm going into HR service. Actually, you know what, I'm going to go into our new site, which is compliancelogin.com. So if I go into compliancelogin.com, and now I can log in as a client or I can log in as a broker. So we give both of you your own separate access. So if I log in as a client for a moment, now when I go in as a client, this is what their view would look like. So when they log in, and by the way, we'll have this set up so that when the client logs in, that they can see and access your, they'll see your logo when they log into the system. For some reason, let me do this. I'm going to switch over to a different site here. Apologize for my delay here. I don't know why it was taking so long to log in. I've been having internet challenges, as Scott had mentioned earlier here today, so hopefully we don't cause a glitch for you. So I'm going to go back into the system now. I go into compliance login, and okay, so now it has me logged in as a client. So I'm logged in to, once I log into the system, and like I said, we'll have this set to where it would actually have your logo that would appear in here as well. So now once I log into the system, now I can go in here under Employee Notices, Employee Notice Report. Once I'm into this report, I can answer these simple questions about my company. I answer questions about my medical insurance. Then I come down here to the bottom, and I can actually generate an employee notice document, or I can generate the health exchange notice. And this document creates this all-in-one notice. Let me show you what that looks like. So here's an all-in-one notice right now. So I've generated this document. This would be the client's logo and their information. And then I can go down here just to show you. There's the HIPAA notice. There's their initial COBRA notice. There's their CHIPRA notice. Here's their newborns, their mental health and parity. Gina, you can see we've got all their notices all in one here. That's already patient protection, family medical leave, their initial COBRA. I've got everything here. On down here to the last one we're showing is their Medicare Part D notice. And I may have multiple Medicare Part D notices if I have one that has a prescription drug plan or a certified prescription drug plan or not. Okay, so let's, so now if I go out, I could do the same. I could generate my health exchange notice if I wanted to in there. Going back here to the client list, I also have other things here that I can use. So I've got, I can access all of our best practice bulletins. I've got a history, all sorts of bulletins and such that are here. Once a year, we provide them with a full compliance calendar, so they can log into their compliance calendar and they can see the due dates, the actions that they have, and we give them the whole month there. But they have access to all of these best practice articles. There's a HIPAA toolkit here where they can go in and they can assess their level of HIPAA compliance. They can see what steps they take to create a HIPAA program, and then we have a HIPAA, everything they need to create their program right here, the forms, tools, documents, policies, everything they would need to set that up. We recently added a really exciting new tool that's called our HR Solutions that provides every kind of form, document, supervisor training, compliance solutions, benefit administration tools, job descriptions, everything they need to run their HR department as well. So we're very excited to add that into this feature as well. Now, of course, a critical part of this is the SPD wrap document itself. So if I click the SPD wrap document, I can go in here as a client or a broker. You both have access to this. I won't hit every field in here, but you can see I cover eligibility. I cover the, and I can have multiple levels of eligibility as well. And then I could go into, I cover what happens when a plan terminates. I cover their open enrollment, their planned year. And then I answer details about each of the benefit plans that they have. So here's their medical plan, their dental, their life, their vision, and so on. Now, if I have questions or problems along the way, if I'm filling out something, you can call anytime and speak with one of our client support specialists. And they'll be able to assist and answer any questions directly for your client or for you. At any point when I've entered in data, I can save and continue, save and exit. Or if I'm ready to generate my document, I can generate the document and send it directly to the client, to the broker, or to the client and the broker. I've got all of that information right there at your fingertips. I could also go in and generate a summary material modification. So if I wanted to generate, and we talked about what a summary material modification is, so if I wanted to go in, if I've had a change in a benefit plan and I wanted to communicate that change to someone, I could go in and actually create a summary material modification right within the tool here. And I apologize, I don't know why I'm having the slow internet today, so I'm going to go ahead and go out of this, and instead we're going to log in and show you what the broker's view looks like. So if I sign in as a broker, now I've set up a test account broker here, and so I'm going to show you what a broker's view looks like. So if I sign in as a broker now, I can go under Partner Setup Clients List. Once I sign into the clients list, what this gives me now is the ability of a broker. I can see and manage all of my clients here. So I can go in. Let's say that I want to go into this company named 97th Floor. I can go in here and help with their annual notices. So if I just click this Edit Employee Notice document, right now I'm right in here. I can go in and help fill out the document. I can send it directly to the client or directly to me. I have all of that control here at my fingertips. I can hit backspace so that I can come right back to where I was at. If I had generated a document, then it would have generated and taken me then back to this field as well. Same thing here, I can go in and help with their SPD wrap document. So if I click this Edit SPD questionnaire, I can go in here and I'm back in that same center that we were in before, specific to this client. I can fill out anything I want, generate their document, and then it's all complete and ready to go. So the nice thing about this is we've empowered you and your client with the ability to do as much or as little of this as you like in terms of generating the documents. Same is true, I could go in for a 125 premium only plan document. And so we've got all of this right here at your fingertips. We're very excited to be able to show you this. Here's an example of the summary of a trail modification. So I could go in here, and it's as simple as indicating which benefit. I could attach something that explains the change, or I could actually explain the change, and then I could actually put in a date, and then indicate which change occurred, and then generate my document. It's that simple. Now, I'm in an actual client here, so I'm actually not going to do that at this time. But it's nice to have all of these tools and everything all in this core document center and in an easy format here for you to be able to manage and work with all of your clients. We're very excited to be able to make this available to you. So if I go back now to what we've talked about here so far, we've talked about the email solutions. Once a month, they get a legal update with due date reminders, and they get the HR bulletin, and that's all included with, and that's sent with your logo, so they get 2 times where there's a touch from you. We've talked about the web-based solutions. We've got the HIPAA kit, we've got the HR solutions, we've got the all-in-one notice, the health exchange notice, the summary of a trail modification, the SPD wrap, all of that. We've gone through discussions about the wrap and such as well. We didn't talk and demo very much on the 125 premium only plan document service, but we have that available as well. Not only does it provide the required documents if we want participants to pay for premiums on a pre-tax basis, but it also provides all the ability to go in and do the annual discrimination testing as well. Let me walk through the rates and show you how this works for you. So the rates are set up now with it's based on, this is the monthly rate per client based on what service levels that you're offering. So what we've been talking about here today is the full comprehensive total solution, which is the compliance basics plus SPD wrap and POP service. So if I were starting a client and I had less than 20 clients on the plan, my rate would be $17 a month per company. At whatever point I crossed that new threshold where I got to where I had 21 to 49 clients on the service, then my rate would change to $15 a month for all clients moving forward. Now, because you're part of the Rogers Benefit Group and you're working closely with them, what we do for you is we actually skip that first level. So we're going to start you at the silver level, and then as you grow personally within your organization to the next levels, then your pricing will change accordingly. Now there is an option if you these are the rates if we're running invoicing through you, and these are the better rates. Scott had mentioned there is a way that you could make money with this, and here's the way that you do that. Most of our brokers, you have some certain level of client that you just want to pay for because there's enough premium in it and they're big enough. They kind of expect that you're going to just do this for them. So identify that group first. Identify who you're going to pay for a service. We'll set you up customized handouts to help communicate and roll out and implement the service as well. And then we'll also we'll even put on training. We have training videos. We try and help train your team as well as educating your clients so they know how to use the tools. So we'll help you with that. You could now the next level of clients, you may have some where you're going, there's not quite enough premium in it, I don't want to pay for it for them. If we're running the invoicing through you, you would still pay us the monthly rate. We would invoice you once a month, but you could charge your client annually whatever you want. So you may charge $300 or $400 for a service level like this. It's a still at that. If you look at your rate, if I take $15 a month, that's $180 a year for everything here at that level, at the lowest level. It even goes down lower from there depending on the number of groups you assign. There is an option if you prefer to not run the invoicing through you. So the only way you're getting the additional discounts is being associated with Rogers Benefit Group and getting these lower rates is running the invoicing through you. But if you prefer to have clients pay directly, we can set them up to where they pay directly and just pay us right online. And it's a very simple process there on how they would do that if they're having someone sign up online. Let me go in and I'll show you what that looks like. So if I had someone go to hrserviceinc.com, what they would do is go into Get Started Now. They would identify the service level that they wanted. So if we were doing the Compliance Basics plus SPD Wrap and Pop, I would check that box, and then I would say Next. And so from here, the client then would create their own username and password, and then they would enter in a special partner key. Now you'll get your partner key based on when you register yourself as a partner. So one of the first steps to getting you set up on this service would be that we would have you register as a partner. So you would go to hrserviceinc.com, select the partner affiliate sign up. When inside of here, then you would register as a partner, create a username and password that you would want to log in to be able to see and access your clients. When you're complete with that, that's where it'll assign you a 4-digit partner key. Now again, that 4-digit partner key only applies if you're wanting to just refer clients and you don't want to pay for anyone or have the invoicing go through you. Our most popular approach, most brokers are doing this, is running the invoicing through them. And then if they want to charge a client for a service, they charge them whatever the fee they want. You can pass over the exact cost or you could add something onto it, and that's how you would make additional money on this. As I mentioned, probably the first starting point is to identify who you want to put on the service and who you're going to pay for. Let's get those folks set up. If you're setting up someone, what I would have you do, we have a simple affiliate agreement. We'd have you sign and agree to, and then you would provide us with a list of the clients that you want on a given service using a client information spreadsheet. So right now, a very simple spreadsheet. You put your company's name, and you could do clients one by one or multiple clients all at once. And so then as I come across here, I put in their name, their address, phone, and then indicate which service levels that you want, and whether or not you're okay if they receive an email with username and password. Now we'll have this set up probably within the next 30 days to where you'll be adding clients just easily right online. We'll communicate more on that, when that service is activated. So that's being set up right now. So I'm going to stop for just a moment and answer a few questions. I've had a couple of other questions come over. So the first question is, would this product replace POP plans sold with other carriers? So if you have another carrier and you're comfortable with your 125 premium only plan document service and the pricing is fair and competitive for you, then you could stay with that and you don't have to use that part of our service. You can see the rates here for us. That's a monthly rate. So if you're paying, if you're running a service through us, $60 a month, $60 a year for a POP document is pretty unheard of out there. I haven't seen any rates that low. So running it through you is going to be a really cost-effective approach. And if you're bundling it with other services, you can see it's only $3 a month per company. So again, that's up to you. It's certainly, you don't need 2 POP documents. And if a client already has a flexible spending account document with a full cafeteria plan, they wouldn't need a POP document either. So again, use this service where it helps and it makes sense for you and your clients. If someone doesn't need a POP, if they do use our service, then that would replace their old out-of-date POP, and they wouldn't need to renew that with someone else. You would just have it through us. So then that would replace it. Okay. Another question that came over, so just wondering if we have, or we'll mention the availability of a similar webinar that is employer-based for us to show. Yes, in fact, I have created a separate webinar link that I could provide for you that you could share with clients so they could see the requirements and understand what the service does for them. It doesn't go into pricing on that one, which is nice because then you can just show them a quick overview of the problems and then see how the service works. So I've got that link that's available, and I will make that available to anyone upon request. Okay, so now if I'm you and I'm looking at this and I'm trying to say, does this look like something I'd like to do for our clients and I'd like to get started, let me give you the steps. So if you were to take the next steps, you're going to make that decision first. Are you okay running invoicing through you? And if so, which clients are you going to pay for? Or which clients are you going to charge and how much? And we'll provide you with all the forms and documents to implement and make this go really smooth for you. We'll customize handouts. We'll put your logo on. We'll provide you with information to email to your clients. We'll even put on training webinars for your clients if you would like us to. Or as I mentioned, we have lots of training short little videos that you could provide them as well. The other thing is you would provide us with that client information spreadsheet I had mentioned previously, that simple spreadsheet where you could provide us the basic client information. And then also there's a simple agreement. And then we'd have you register as a partner, as I had mentioned before. So if you go to hrserviceinc.com, it does direct you over, so you could also do that through the compliance login. But I went in through hrserviceinc.com. I click on that partner affiliate sign up, register here as a partner, and then I'm ready to go. That'll give you that partner key. The partner key won't matter to you if you're running invoicing through you. The only time that matters is if you're having someone sign up for the service online themselves. Okay. Great. Well, with that, the other thing that I would ask you to do, I'm going to direct you to two of our key team members that will help you with setting up the service. And these individuals, let's see, I'm sorry, I went to the wrong screen here. Okay, I've got two of our compliance coaches that would help you in getting set up, Austin and Lance. And so what I would have you do is call 801-685-8400. And then you could dial extension 9 to speak with Austin or 17 to speak with Lance. And one of the things that I would recommend that you do when you're calling into is just mention that you're coming in as part of the Rogers Benefit Group referral, but make sure they're clear that what your company's name is. And then I've let them know ahead of time about your special pricing arrangements because, as I mentioned before, we skip the whole bronze level pricing for you and let you start right as if you already have clients at this level. So great. With that, let me open it up to any other questions. Looks like I don't have any other questions that have come through here yet. So Scott, if you're on there, I will turn it back over to you.
All righty, Ken, thank you very much. One of the things that we'll be doing is following up with this webinar. I think you said, Ken, it's a YouTube copy of this or something like that?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so we'll be forwarding that out to you so you have that. And then one of the things we want to definitely have you do is contact them directly, either Lance or Austin, as he showed you on the last screen. Those are going to be your go-to people. And other than that, we're just excited about this new service and hope you'll utilize it.
Great. I have one other question that came in, Scott, just to mention the question asked if we invoice our clients, are we responsible for creating an invoice? So we're going to invoice you for whichever level of clients you have. You'll decide from there who you want to pay for to where you're not worried about collecting anything from them. And then you may have some where you're going, this client's too small, there's not enough premium in it, I need to collect something from them. And then in that case, you would need to create an invoice. If you need any assistance with that, then we would be happy to help you with that. There's another question that came over. It says if a company has 10 employees, then the compliance basics plus SP Giraffe and Pop is $15 a month times 10. Let me clarify that for you. This cost is the cost per company. So it's not driven by the employee size. The numbers that are up here, that's your volume of clients that you've assigned to us. So if you have 21 clients assigned to us, then you're at the silver pricing level, which of course we're starting you at anyway. If you have 50 clients, so this is not employee size. This is the number of clients assigned to us at any point in time. And the rates here are the total cost per company. It doesn't matter the size of the group. It could be a group of 2 or it could be a group of 2,000. It's the same monthly cost. Great. Well, Scott and Tammy and everyone, we thank you so much for connecting in with us here today and look forward to working with you and being a resource. I had one other quick question that came over. I'm going to go ahead and answer. So the cost is $15 a month for the company, even if the company has 100 employees. You're absolutely correct, Neil. That's the way. That's the cost, total cost per company per month. And this is the invoicing through you. You may charge them more than that if you want to, unless it's something you're just going to pay for. Okay. Great. One other question says, will there be a cost for onboarding each group? No, there's no other costs associated. We don't have any upfront costs associated with this. And just a side note, we do have a whole HR solutions division too. So at some point, we may, I don't want to get too many things on the table here today, but just keep in mind, we help with employee handbooks. We offer HR support, help desks. We do compliance and HR audits. So we can help with some of those things as well. So that's just a side note for you. But we do look forward to partnering with you and helping make this compliance stuff go easier for you and get your compliant while you win business. Great. Thanks, everyone. Have a nice afternoon.
Thank you, Ken.